wait, let me pin this comment first. Vaginismus live with Dr. Taru Jindal. Whoops, gotta spell that correctly. And we are live. Hello guys, I'm really excited about this video. We're talking about vaginismus with the vaginismus expert. So we have 1,000 people joining. Hello friends. We have 1,200 people joining. Hello 1,300 friends. Hello. We're just waiting for our friends at Proactive for Her, where Dr. Taru has developed this vaginismus program. We're just waiting for them to join in. And if you do have vaginismus, I think this is have a program specifically for people with vaginismus. So sort out your pelvic floor issues, guys. So yeah, just waiting for Dr. Taru to join in. Oh God, the new Manta videos are up. Hi Zahan, thank you for telling me that. I'm going to go check it out. So I don't know if you guys know, but I scuba dive, and I dive with this group called Orca Dive Club, and Zahan Edenwala takes some really good shots. Is my video not audible? Is this working? Hello. Should I try removing my should I remove my headphones? Is that going to be better? Okay, let's just wait for people from Proactive to join, but just so that it says Proactive is unable to join. Okay, this is interesting. I'll just tell you guys what vaginismus is in the meanwhile, and I'll also tell you a little bit about Proactive because I think this is important. So this is your pelvis. Wait, let me grab my Haddi Raja. Hang on 1 second. Oh no, the table is too far away. Okay, hang on. This is our friend Haddi Raja. In this case, it's Haddi Rani. So this is what the human body looks like. And this part over here, that is called your pelvis. Okay? This part here, this is where the uterus, the vagina, all of this stuff lives. Okay? If my voice is on and off continuously, I should remove my headphones. Okay, thank you guys. Okay. Back to Haddi Rani. So this is Haddi Rani. This is our friend who says hello. And am I still not clearly audible? It's audible now? No? Ayo, why? What's wrong? I'm also seeing in the meanwhile if our friends from Proactive for Her can join us, because there seems to be an issue with the internet. Hello. Oh God, I can't see anything. Audible, excellent. So I'm going to keep explaining things in the meanwhile. Our friends, if they're here, please say hello. Please drop a hello in the comments. So this is our friend Haddi Rani, who was very, very helpful for explaining things. So this part of Haddi Rani, this part is called the pelvis. Okay, so this is, your hips are about here. Boink, boink. So this is the pelvis, and the pelvis has, you can see it's like a bowl. And that's actually what it means. So at the bottom, it's, khokla, it's khali. So okay, so this at the bottom, it's khali. So we have some muscles that kind of cover this bottom, which are called the pelvic floor muscles, because this is the pelvis, this is the floor of the pelvis. So these are the pelvic floor muscles. Let me explain this over here. This is a bigger enlarged version of your pelvis. I will save this video on my profile, so don't worry. We'll also save it on Proactive for Her's page, so you'll be able to see it. Video shuru hone wala hai jaldi se, don't worry. This is your pelvis, okay? There are some organs in the pelvis. This is your bladder. This is where susu is formed and stored. This is your uterus. This is where menstrual blood comes out from, or this is where baby lives. And this is your rectum. This is where your poop is stored. I don't know why I did that. So as you can see, this pelvis is like a bowl. And to make this bowl complete and to keep it closed, we have some muscles. called the muscles of the pelvic floor because this is the floor of the pelvis. If anybody from Proactive for Her or Dr. Taru Jindal is here, please drop me a hi so that we can add you to the video. I think there's some technical issue because of which we're unable to add her. Wow, my hair is really not behaving today. So these are the muscles of the pelvic floor, just to revise your basic pelvic floor anatomy. This here little guy is our clitoris. Let me also show you. Whoa, here we are. So this is what we see on the outside, right? This is our clitoris. Now, if you remove all of the skin on top, you will see directly the structures inside. So this is what it looks like. This is a handmade model, guys. I literally made this on a box of baking soda, so don't judge the quality. Oh, Proactive people are here. Hello, guys. Are you able to join? Please try another request. I have tried to add you, but it says unable to join. So yeah, let me know what we can do. In the meanwhile, I am explaining basic vulval anatomy, sorry, pelvic floor anatomy to everybody while, yes, thank you, Swaratmika Kumar. Thanks, Swaratmika Kumar. Thank you so much for letting me know. So, this is your pelvic floor. This is the clitoris right here. This is your urethra, the tiny hole over here. This is the susu hole. This is where susu comes out from. You do not pee from your vagina. You pee from this opening. This is susu hole. And then you have at the bottom, you have your vaginal opening. This is the vagina. And the blue color, that's the internal clitoris. So the clitoris, this is the only part we are seeing, but the clitoris is much bigger. I can show you how it looks. Give me 1 second. I love having an office. Oh my God, it's so amazing. Okay, so this is what the whole clitoris looks like. We only see some part of it, the part that comes out. This is the part we see. Proactive, guys, it says Proactive for Her is unable to join. So let's try if you can join from Dr. Taru's channel. Let's try a couple of things. In the meanwhile, I'm going to keep explaining things. So this is the clitoris. This is the part we can see. And this is the part we can see. The whole clitoris is actually like this, which you can see over here. You see this purple part is here. And this little pink dundee is here. This is the whole clitoris. And the differentiate between bachadani and haddidani. Haddidani kya hota hai? Anyway. So this is, again, let's go back to the basic anatomy. This is the clitoris. This is the part we see, the matar kadana, the pleasure center. This is the remaining parts of the clitoris that are hidden inside the muscles. This is your urethra, your susu hole. This is where you pee from. This is your vagina. This is where the penis or the baby comes out of, or the menstrual cup goes in, or the tampon goes in. So this is the vaginal hole. And all of the muscles together here make up the pelvic floor. So this is a support. If you think of your, ooh, this is nice. If you think of your pelvis like a katora, I've taken Haddi Raja's head and opened it. Anyway, so if you think of your pelvis like a katora, because in Latin, pelvis literally means bowl. So if you think of it like a bowl, the pelvis is like a bowl, right? It just needs a floor. It needs something at the bottom to support all of these organs that live inside it. Your bladder, your uterus, your rectum. So all of the stuff that lives inside. This is the clitoris, guys, once again. So there are some things at the bottom to support this bowl, and these things at the bottom are different muscles. We've got tissue cavernous, bulbar cavernous. I will not go into the big names because you will get overwhelmed. Tumhe bhi maza nahi aayega, mujhe bhi maza nahi aayega. So what we need to understand in vaginismus, thank you, Nihal Shahji, thank you so much. So if this is the bottom, this is the floor, what happens in vaginismus is that we have certain triggers in the body. These triggers can be lots of things. It can be infection, it can be trauma, it can be anxiety, it can be injury, it can be so many reasons that can cause this pelvic floor and this vaginal opening to clench up. So it becomes like this. Instead of being like a opening thing, it becomes like this, like tight. Guys, let me just give me 1 second. I'm gonna have the video pause for a second, and I'm gonna see. Oh, hello, hi, proactive guys. I was just gonna go reach out to you. Can you tell me what solution we're thinking of to do this? Being a doc, you should know common words used by Indian people. Bachadani is womb. I do know what bachadani is. Somebody said haddidani. I don't know what a haddidani is. Where is uterus and fallopian tube? Meanwhile, guys, you keep asking me your questions about pelvic anatomy. We'll answer that while proactive people join. So, this is the uterus and these are the tubes. Let me pull it out actually. I think it might be fun. Oh, bladder bahar gir gaya. So, this is the uterus. This is the vagina. I think something that's really fun for us to know is that the bladder, the uterus is kind of sitting on the bladder. It's not, when we see diagrams, no, we see everything straight. It's not actually like that. In reality, the uterus is kind of sitting on it. Sometimes it's also ulta. Sometimes the uterus is also like this. This is called a retroverted uterus, but normally it is antiverted. So it's facing the front. And this is called this is like a normal uterus position. This is why when people are pregnant, they feel the need to pee all the time. Let me grab another uterus quickly. Oh. Human body is mysterious, but human body is also miraculous. So if this is your normal uterus, if you put a creepy little baby inside it, am I married? Why does this matter? So if we make it pregnant, if we put a creepy little baby inside it, what happens is that when this big uterus starts resting on your bladder, you want to keep going to pee all the time. That's why pregnant people want to pee all the time. That's why pregnant people always want to do so. And that's the difference between a pregnant and a non-pregnant uterus. That's why there's so much pressure on a bladder in pregnant people. So, yeah, this is the situation inside. This is the uterus. Oh, we can open this also. Hang on. Okay, itna hi khulega, sorry. Proactive for her, guys. If you're here, can you please add a solution over here, because my phone is on do not disturb, so I can't see if you're WhatsApping me. Please let me know if there's some solution we have to continue this vaginismus session. So this is the uterus. This is what it looks like on the inside. Hi doc, I'm your old patient. I got this model on Amazon. You can just look up female pelvis and you can find this. So this is the uterus on the inside. This is the vagina. These are the tubes. And this is the end part of the tubes that is close to the, how do I show this? That is close to the ovary. So this is where the egg is released from, the fimbriae of the fallopian tube. Pick it up and then take it over here and then bring it into the uterus. Uterus. Woohoo. Please explain it again. Uterus, fallopian tubes. Wait, let me use my other model. I have way too many models. So, uterus, vagina, fallopian tubes, ovary. So, egg comes out of the ovary. Fallopian tubes pick it up, take it into the fallopian tubes. This is where, if you've conceived, sperm travels up, meets egg here, makes baby. Oh, Dr. Taru's here. Hello. Wait, if the request will load. So guys, just for context, Dr. Taru Jindal is a vaginismus expert. She works with Proactive for Her, which is a really cool, non-judgmental gynecology service available for really cool gynecology service that has non-judgmental doctors. So they're a good place to check it out. And what I love about their work is that they have a vaginismus program. So let me just something's the matter because I can't see Dr. Taru's request. It does say Dr. Taru has sent a request, but I can't see it. It's very, very strange. Super duper strange. Anyway, today we will be talking about vaginismus. I'm going to place the organs back. इसको साफ भी करने की बहुत जरूरत है, अंदर झाड़ू नहीं लग गया बहुत दिन से. Let me try adding her directly. Dr. Taru, can you comment? Maybe I can invite you from there. Ayo. Okay, I think I can invite her. Oh, I've been able to invite you. Dr. Taru, see your invites and see if we can. Dr. Taru has asked you to send request. You missed her message. I just sent her a request. Dr. Taru, please. Yay! It's working. Hallelujah.
Oh my God. For the last 20 minutes, I was trying to get inside.
Also, what happens in vaginismus?
Yeah. It's all blocked.
I'm so glad you're able to join us. I will just give a brief introduction about you and what is proactive for her so that people have context to what we're going to be talking about. So guys, I just explained a little bit about what vaginismus is. Don't worry, I'm going to be asking Dr. Taru once again. So she will explain it to us once again. And we're chatting with Dr. Taru, who is an expert in treating vaginismus, and they have, with Proactive for Her, she's developed this wonderful model of treating vaginismus holistically. So instead of just going through one method, we have lots and lots of options that work together to help you treat your vaginismus holistically. And Dr. Taru is the expert who deals with all of this and sort of designed this program. Hello, and thank you for joining us.
Hi, Dr. Uterus. Really a fan of your work, and it was so happy to be a part of this today. Thanks a lot for hosting this issue here.
So Dr. Taru, just how about you explain to us in like some very basic terms what vaginismus is?
Right. So vaginismus or vaginismus, whichever way we want to pronounce it, it is simply difficulty in allowing vaginal penetration of anything. It could be your finger when you're trying to put a tampon or a cup. It could be a gynax finger. It could be an ultrasound tube, or it could be a penis in a sexual situation, even though you really want to do it. So the definition highlights that you really want to do it. It is a consensual and an act in which she really desires it. However, she's not able to go through the act, right? And this is what is vaginismus. Vaginismus can create a sense of helplessness because a part of you is saying, yes, I want it. A part of you saying no. And this seems to be out of your control, right? And that is why it's said that it's because of an involuntary vaginal contraction. Involuntary means not in my control. Involuntary vaginal spasm or vaginal contraction or tightening when something comes close to the vagina. It's almost like dust coming in front of your face and your eyes just close as a reflex response. So this is a body reflex to protect you.
That's a wonderful way of explaining it. I like this analogy a lot. So as you mentioned, it's a way of protecting us. So what are we trying to protect ourselves from? What are the common causes of how vaginismus develops?
Right. Often these girls ask me, doctor, but I don't want any protection. I want this, right? Why is my body trying to protect me against something I want, right? And that's why this becomes so perplexing for this girl, because she so wants it. Now, why is our body protecting us, right? It's a protective response. So during the growing up years of this girl, or childhood, adolescence, early adult years, her mind and body got convinced because of certain events or experiences that sex or penetration is dangerous, threatening. Don't do it. Like if we touch something hot, hand just withdraws, right? So your body registers it's dangerous. So your body has registered that sexual penetration is dangerous. It is threatening. So your body will simply not allow you to do this. And hence, the cause of vaginismus is not in this moment. The cause of vaginismus is actually in your past. The experiences that this girl had. So basically, which kinds of experiences? Vaginismus basically is a term, just two terms can explain this, pain and shame. If a girl has grown up hearing that the first night is painful, it bleeds, you faint, if such things are heard, it's like an injection to the body. Your body is not going to allow you to do it, right? We don't like injections. So that's any news of pain she may have heard from her friends, or excessive coverage of news of sexual abuse or sexual assault in media. So in absence of any sex education, she's never heard that this is nice, pleasurable, something to look forward to. And now 24/7, she's hearing about very gory incidents of sexual assault. Then what gets registered is danger. She cannot discriminate. This is news of sexual violence. Trigger warning here. News of sexual violence, that is not equal to sex. Sex and sexual violence are different, even though probably done through the same area. So this is the first thing, news of pain. The second is shame. All of us have grown up in very conservative environments where even though you hit puberty at the age of 12 or 10, but your first sexual intercourse can only happen at the age of 26 or 30. What are you going to do for those 10 years? You're supposed to remain an asexual human being, which is not the nature's design. So when you are forcefully suppressing this sexual desire for 10, 12, 15 years, your body cannot just switch over after one night's marriage reception. So living in a culture of shame. Third could be experience with bad touch. So I often say that the very first experience of sex in our country or sexual touch in our country is bad touch.
Yeah.
There's no good touch, it's only bad touch, right? So you can't really discriminate. This is good, this is bad, because you've only had bad, right? And it can come across as your body registers as a miserable, saddening experience, right? So this is the third reason. Other reasons, of course, are ignorance. Very few of us know how many holes are down there, right? Very few of us, even as doctors, have looked at our own vulvas.
Yeah.
So ignorance, how to do this, right?
Absolutely.
This could be, fear of pregnancy. Many women who may probably have had their first experience before the technical event of marriage, so scared of getting pregnant because of this, right? Even though we have such excellent contraception, we can't seem to trust it. Fear of pregnancy. And lastly, even if such sexual traumas are not there, some girls have experienced a lot of childhood trauma. Childhood trauma in which they saw a lot of domestic violence. They were bullied at school. They were hit by their parents. So anything that put this child in a fight, flight, freeze mode, as in a very reactive mode where the body is trying to protect itself from danger. All of these reasons, when they get so deeply registered in our subconscious mind, then sex requires you to be very, very vulnerable, right? This is the only act in which you actually enter another person's body. Yeah. And this requires a great amount of safety. But if any of these things have happened, there is no safety. And hence your body is fully ready to protect you, even though you don't want it to protect you.
This is fantastic. Thank you for that wonderful explanation. And it's so unfortunate that, so many people have to go through this because of the lack of options. Just the kind of trauma we face in our lives, especially as women, is just really disheartening. But if somebody has already had this condition and they've been trying to battle it for a long, long time, what are the kind of symptoms they might experience? What are the things that help us diagnose that this is vaginismus?
The worst part about this condition is its name, vaginismus. It's so difficult to even pronounce the name, right? So it's not a term that's easily known in the world. We don't get the keyword vaginismus and we type it. We usually type painful sex. And we will go to all sorts of conditions other than vaginismus. Yeah. So I think that healing has to start by changing the name, right? And making it easier. So I think women have to know that there are some very basic symptoms of this. And vaginismus is highlighted by the anxiety a woman has about penetration even before it has happened, right? Sometimes they don't even realize it, right? Sometimes they'll just say, oh, I just started feeling nervous, right? So women will say, I was nervous before penetration. Everything was fine when foreplay was going on. I was enjoying it. But the moment that time came, I started to feel nervous. I started, my heart started to beat very fast, started to sweat. Some people say nothing happened before, but the moment penetration started, it felt like my vagina just shut down. Yeah. It felt like there was a tight wall down there. Or it felt like the hole was very small in comparison to the penis. The more we pushed, the more it hurt. It almost is like, imagine your own finger going through a closed fist, right? That's why it hurts. Yeah. So these are some of the very highlight words used by these women, right? And if anyone has these, very typical symptoms, think of vaginismus.
Fantastic. And there are lots of people who do experience this. There are lots of people, even, in my DMs, I mean, outside of the hospital as well, in my DMs, I so often hear from people that, sex is impossible. Like you mentioned, it's like the hole is too small. It's like penetration is impossible. It's like my body, my brain wants it, but my body doesn't want it. So like there's lots and lots of different descriptions that you get to hear from all of this, from all of these different conditions that do affect the brain-body axis essentially, and how much your mental state can affect your physical state. So if somebody is going through something like this, what are the treatment options available? How can we, firstly, okay, let me rephrase that. Can this be cured?
Yeah. Good question, right? So someone who has it will always feel this is an impossible condition to cure. And there is so much of shame around this, right? And that actually decreases the possibilities of this woman reaching some place of cure, because she will never speak about it. There is so much of silence for years. They don't even speak about it to their own family. And so many lose hope and they just do IVF or something for pregnancy, right? So shame is the biggest issue because of the cultural taboo around this in our country. If she has to find help, usually the best people to go to are mental health professionals like psychiatrists or psychologists or sexologists. These are the ones who really do treat vaginismus, right? But what tends to happen is most people land up at the doors of a gynecologist.
Yeah.
Now, me, a gynecologist myself, after around 10, 11 years of training, I know that I was never ever taught about vaginismus. And I probably just read one somewhere in our textbook. And hence, I don't know much about vaginismus as a gynec, right? Only when I got vaginismus myself, that, the search really started for answers. And if a woman comes to a gynecologist, usually she will try to diagnose. Some people are aware this is vaginismus, some people are not aware, right? But even if they're aware, most of the times it's just relax, use some wine, maybe use some numbing gel, or it'll happen. Just generic advice is given, which doesn't really actually address the problem of vaginal contraction. There has to be more scientific protocols. Just as you treat tuberculosis with an entire protocol, there is an entire protocol to treat vaginismus, but most of our gynecs are not aware of it simply because it's not a part of their curriculum. It's not their fault, but it's just not taught to them because not enough women are coming out and saying, hey, I had vaginismus. And hence it's not recognized as a big clinical problem, just as infertility or something else, right?
Yeah.
So in absence of knowledge, when you go to a gynecologist who may not know much about it, you'll get generic advice, or probably they'll hand you some dilators and without any knowledge of how to use them. And hence a gynecologist may not be the best person to go to if she's, just a general gynecologist, not a vaginismus expert. Hence, I would say psychologists, psychiatrists, and sexologists tend to be more informed about this condition. Now, your question was whether it can get cured. World over, success rates of vaginismus healing programs are between 90 to 100%.
Oh, wow.
Especially the in-person vaginismus healing programs tend to have very high success rate.
Oh,
and it's one of those conditions. Yes, it is one of those very rare sexual conditions that is a very good success rate and gets healed in a very short time. You don't have to think of times like 1 year, 6 months, not at all. Probably an average is anywhere between 6 weeks to 10 weeks. That's an average, maybe much shorter as well. Much shorter, sometimes 2 weeks as well. So the most fascinating aspect of this whole thing is that treatment is almost 90 to 100% success rate, very short time, yet most people remain unhealed. And that's because we don't speak about it. We need more Insta lives on this. We need more blogs on this. We need more women who had vaginismus to come out from, claim from their rooftops, I had this, right? And then the shame around this condition would...
This 90 to 100% success rate, because I've never heard this before, there's nobody who can teach. Like you mentioned, I don't know any gynecologist teach me about vaginismus and sexual medicine that way. But I would love to do a reel on this, that 90 to 100% success rate. Wow.
Yes. And so that's what I have read when I did the literature review, that excellent success. So we don't really have to worry about whether this is treatable, not treatable, right? As long as we know what is the root of this condition, right? The root of this condition is not in the vagina. The vagina is very elastic. We all know that. I mean, especially as medical professionals. Vagina is like a rubber band, right? It can expand to even 9 centimeters to deliver a baby's head. Yeah. And during sexual arousal, your vagina will actually balloon out into a 3.7 centimeter vagina at the front end and a 6 centimeter vagina at the back end with a length of 5 to 6 inches. It becomes bigger than the penis, right? And I use the word vaginal erection for that. So if we had more people talking about vaginal erection rather than the hymen, I think we would have less vaginismus today, because we've spoken more about blockages. Sorry?
Or vaginal tightening.
Yes. So we've spoken more about blocks rather than space.
Yeah.
If a girl in her 10th standard or 12th standard understands that just as he is able to balloon out, I'm also able to balloon out. I'll have enough space inside. Instead of thinking of it as a small hole with this one block of hymen there, this is the wrong message to give to a girl, right? So, of course, and so much can be spoken about prevention of vaginismus, but yes, I mean, everything is about telling her how much space you have, and nature cannot create a mismatch of sizes if this is the very on which the future of humanity depends. It has to be a pleasurable act. And vaginal erection is my favorite word to use for this.
I love
because that instantly tells the girl, I have the space, right? And my design is as good or probably better than the guy.
This is such a fantastic thing. I'm going to write this down. I will obviously credit you, but I would love to do a reel around this also.
No credit me for any of this information. It's public knowledge.
No, but this is so helpful because, I mean, even now, you know, at the start of this live, I had somebody come and comment, how can I tighten my vagina? And I was just like, you know, this is literally a session about how to make sure your vagina doesn't.
How to loosen it.
Exactly. Right. So, you know, there's so much pressure on people to sort of change the way their vagina behaves instead of understanding how basic vaginas actually operate. So now that we have a basic understanding and the people who are watching have a basic understanding of what all happens here, what are the treatment options? How do we treat something like vaginismus?
Yeah. So let me start by sharing my own story, that I, even as a gynecologist married to a psychiatrist in a relationship for 14 years, I suffered from vaginismus for 7 years. Even though I was right inside a medical college doing my MD, I was not able to find appropriate wholesome help. Of course, I went to various doctors and got bits and pieces of information, but it never was complete, and probably sometimes the motivation was missing. So when I healed myself, it took me less than a month to actually have my first painless penetrative intercourse, which was 7 years after marriage. And when I healed, the first thought in my mind was, why so long? Why did I take so long? If this was so easy as swallowing food, we never questioned where will the food go, right? Whether do I have space here to eat food? We never questioned this. Design. So why did I question this? And it was as simple as that. And then I and my husband really started to think how we can contribute, being medical professionals. Somewhere during the COVID, when it started, my husband had this idea that let's start a support group on this. Everyone is at home. This is a good time. I thought not even one person will join. But we had 7 girls joining this support group. Out of these 7, I think 6 healed. And they healed just by using the same process that I used. I was like, oh, this works. And that's when I had a live with Proactive for Her. Proactive for Her came along and said, hey, we want to do work on Vaginismus with you. And at that time, I don't think many portals were working on sexual issues of women. The only thing we talk about is childbirth and contraception. We're only talking about having babies or not having babies. but we are not talking about women's sexual pain. And I needed a bold platform like Proactive to actually host me, because I don't think I had the courage to do it on my own. And then I and my husband sat down and we created a 4-step process of healing vaginismus. And this is a very simple 4-step formula that we use. And I started to use it in the program. Slowly, women started to heal using the same protocol that I used. Of course, I did some literature review across the world and kind of created this formula. And now we are running our 21st batch. I never thought that this would go on so long, right? It's been 3 long years since we've been doing this. 208 couples, Indian couples from across the world have healed vaginismus in an average time of anywhere between 6 to 12 weeks, right? Because it's a completely online program. I sometimes feel it's not something to be proud of, right? That we have so many women with vaginismus and we run wait lists. Is it a thing for our country to be proud of, that our girl daughters or our daughters are suffering from a condition like vaginismus, which is culture bred? You ask this girl to not have sex for 25 years, and that comes true even after marriage. She can't do it, right? There has been so much suppression of the sexual desire or her own sexuality that when she has to do it, she's not able to do it, right? It's not something to be proud of. And I think it's very important that our future generation is really protected from this condition like vaginismus. And so I think our program that way has been fantastic, because we've been able to make it as wholesome as possible as the years have progressed, because we have one-to-one coaching and you get a coach in the program for the entire 8 weeks. You have women support groups, because it's so important for a woman with vaginismus to see another woman with vaginismus. Because when I had it for 7 years, I did not even know one girl who had vaginismus around me. And then that increased my sense of inadequacy, my sense of brokenness, right? Just took away my self-esteem, my self-confidence. Every time I would deliver a baby, Kanaya, I used to be like a trigger with a trigger on my head. You can't do it, you can't do it, you can't do it. Only if I had seen another girl with vaginismus, my shame would have gone down. I would have understood this is not my fault. This is because I was born with a culture of shame. I was repeatedly told about pain. I received bad touch before I received good touch. I don't know how many holes are down there. So multiple reasons which are not within my body. It's in my environment. So vaginismus is a result of my environment, not because of me. And hence, when we do this program, it's so important to see other women. So we usually have a group of 20. So you can see others, you can hear someone from Europe, someone from Canada, all Indian girls, saying the same thing. And then you realize, oh, I didn't do this. Not my fault, right? I didn't create this in me. I want it as much as he does. So women's support group is the hallmark of the program. Of course, pleasure coaching, right? Many women come into the program thinking, I want to get pregnant. That's the only thing on their mind. Some women say, I just want to save my marriage. Some women say, oh, I just want to satisfy him. You are not the focus, right? So I realized that painlessness is not enough. Pleasure is the goal. That's why you're getting into this. It's not just to give something, it's also to receive pleasure. And hence, we invited Aprupa, who's an Instagram influencer as well, to speak on pleasure. And she's our pleasure coach who's just transformed the way women perceive this whole healing journey, going from painlessness to pleasure. And the last component, of course, is partner support group. Women who have partners it's very important to enroll them in the process, because a lot of them, many of them don't realize what's exactly happening. Some of them will say, oh, she doesn't like me. Or someone will say, oh, she's not interested. Is she having an affair? What's the issue? So many times I've seen our urban men, they've grown up with a lot of equality. So they really try and support and support and support. But after some years, at least 2, 3, 4 years of vaginismus, they start to lose hope. And I've seen this fracturing relationships. Women and men staying together just as friends. And they're not in relationship, in any sexual relationship anymore, because it just leads to disappointment. It leads not just to a fracture of relationships, but a fracture of our own personality, right? So addressing everything is important. Vaginismus is not just about taking dilator and putting it inside. It is about wholesome addressing the root cause through this process. And the last thing I mention here is most people think of vaginismus as a vagina issue.
Yeah.
Hence, the treatment starts with physiotherapy and vaginal dilators. But we know that vagina is perfectly normal. It's just receiving the signal from the mind, don't do this, don't do this. There is a enemy at the door. And hence the treatment cannot start with the vagina. The treatment has to start with emotional healing. We have to open tape recorder of the past and find out which dirty songs were recorded, which really convinced this girl this is dangerous. That has to be healed. And then slowly we move on with letting the woman understand vaginal relaxation, of course working with fingers and dilators, and finally reaching to the vaginal penetration with the partner. Now, emotional healing is the crux, and that is the exact piece, the puzzle piece that is missing in most of the vaginismus healing protocols that are so vagina focused and not addressing the root cause, which is in the mind. And I think emotional healing is the core of our program. And so all our experts are either psychotherapists or psychiatrists. I'm the only gynec misnomer there. And trauma healing is the core here. So we do a lot of work with trauma. Yeah.
This is fantastic. Thank you so much for elucidating it so clearly and for explaining to everybody who's watching how vaginismus healing can work. So guys, this is Dr. Taru Jindal. She works with Proactive for Her. If you suspect you have vaginismus or you know somebody who has vaginismus who is looking for treatment options, please redirect them to Dr. Taru Jindal, who will connect you with Proactive for Her, which is where the support group also exists, and this is where they run their program for helping so many women heal from vaginismus. Thank you so much for joining us. This has been a really wonderful session.
I really appreciate that you hosted a topic like this, because I think everyone needs to shout from the rooftops about vaginismus. We are talking so much about childbirth, but not about the vaginismus. Whoever thinks you or your friend or anyone may have this condition, just reach out to Proactive for Her. We have our Instagram channel where you'll be able to get a screening call done with us and then get enrolled in the program with a short wait time of maybe around 4 to 6 weeks. Like I said, if 208 women plus me, 209, if at least these many can heal, then why can't you? Just keep up the hope. This is not rocket science. Your body is made to do this.
I love this. Thank you so much. And everybody who's asking, this video will be hosted on my page as well as Dr. Taru's page. We will link Proactive for Her in the caption, so you can go check it out over there. This video will be saved. Thank you so much for joining. Thanks for coming on a Thursday night. And thank you so much, Dr. Taru.
Thank you. Thank you, Danai, for having the patience. Right, even I'm not able to join.
Inspired. Thank you. Have a great evening.
Thank you.
Bye.
Thank you. Bye.